Duvdev from Infected Mushroom right before their show here in Orlando, Florida. How you feeling tonight?
I'm pretty good, you know, first show of the weekend. Oh yeah.
I'm super excited for this. Well, people want to know, what's the story of Infected Mushroom? When did you guys first get together? What was it like? I know you and Eric had solo projects when you guys first started. What can you tell us about was coming together when you guys really knew that Infected Mushroom was going to be?
You know, me and Eric, we met back in 95, 96 in Israel. He was under another band name called Shidapu, and I was producing music by myself. I just came back from India, you know, traveling and all this Israeli kind of thing, whatever, and I wanted to do electronic music. I come from a background of electronic music, he does as well. Met together and started doing a project called Duvdev and Shidapu, you know, beginning of time, as we did a bunch of tracks. And I think after a while we did this first track called Montoya, and then we realized this is something different, this is where we want to go, and then formed basically Infected Mushroom.
How old were you at the time?
I was 21, he was 60, so it was different times, yeah.
So what, you met him when you came back from India?
Yeah, I was released from the army and went to India, and I met him before, but we really started producing when I came back, so, you know, and then formed the album, first Gathering album in 1998.
I hear a lot of Latin influence in the music, so much in the percussion. Do you have influences?
Some Latin influence, some Oriental, militaristic influence, you know, one of our biggest markets in the beginning was Mexico and Brazil, so we kind of followed the vibe, you know, and brought us into the music.
So with all the albums, there's so much transition. Where do you see from when you started out to where you are now? Did you really see that direction coming like that? Did you envision where you'd be where you are today?
When we started, you know, we were a proper side trance band. We didn't look neither right or left from side trance. We were like dedicated to that. But then when converting vegetarians came and we started exploring with different kind of genres of music, then we started bringing back our old influence from punk, heavy metal, and all this kind of stuff came together and formed later on what became Supervisor, Vicious, and then the Legend of the Black Shawarma. And with Army of Mushrooms, we kind of went back a little bit more to the electronic side, again with Friends of Mushroom at the moment now. So, you know, we just do whatever we feel like today, so if it's one genre to another.
And is there a lot of difference in the production, what goes into making the album? For instance, the Moomba Chord song, I love that track. It's so different than most of your other music.
Oh, yeah.
It's Infected Mushroom, but I hear such a different, you guys are so advanced, but to hear the sound continuing to grow, the way you pocket your kicks.
Well, you know, the Mamba Core track is influenced by this genre, the Mamba tone that goes to the moment, but we don't like Mamba tone, you know, and that's what's funny enough about it. But when we heard Porter Robinson did the Bitch track, you know, we said, "What? This is kind of sounding cool. Let's take it to a different direction." That's why we went to it, you know, because we do not like Mamba tone, you know. Either do not like or don't get, but whatever. We felt the vibe in it, you know, especially after Porter touched it to a different kind of way. So we said, you know what, let's bring it to our kind of genre, and then came the Mamba Core track, you know. So, and yeah, pretty happy with the result.
What's it like when you play at home? Everybody's so used to the old school, you know, you have the hardcore fans, you know. What's that like?
Playing at home, Israel, Infected Mushroom has let's call it a god status in Israel, so we can play what the fuck we want.
Yeah, what was the last party you did? Was it the Independence Rave party?
Independence Rave party. That was cool because we played only material from first, second, and yeah, old school, you know.
Xerox Gravity, is that the
Xerox Gravity Waves, yeah, you know.
I love that song.
This movement now in Israel, the psytrance movement, it has a new generation. Progressive, yeah. Ace Ventura, you know, Captain Hook and all this kind of vibe brought it back to a massive scale, and I'm happy that it's back again.
Did you play Moksha parties back in the day?
Oh yeah, definitely. Since when it was like this, you know. So, and Moksha today is
big. I got friends who are promoting now.
Yeah, so it's changing so much. Retarded, but it's fun. You know, I love it. It's a new scene. It's a new generation. These kids that are going now, you know, they were, when I started, they were like 10 or 8, whatever. So it's cool, you know.
Wow, that's awesome. So when it came to coming to the States, how did that come about? Was it management? Was it demand? How did the States really come into?
Well, when we moved here, it was not like today now. EDM has exploded. You know, there was no EDM when we moved here. You know, but we moved here because we've done what we wanted to do in Israel and stuff, and we wanted to come here to actually collaborate with heavy metal artists because we come from heavy metal, and we did. You know, with James Addiction, with Jonathan Davis, then we produced The Doors. Kind of, we did what we wanted to do in the States, but then, you know, we moved. We said we're gonna move to LA for 1 or 2 years, and now it's 8 years. You know, and we're a full-blown California now. You know, so and we live there, we love it, and yeah, look what happened to EDM. I never expected it to be, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Are we hoping that Psytrance comes to the States?
States and Psytrance is weird because there was a time it was pretty big over here, and it was the tunnel, not only tunnel days, rave days, cave days, actually Disco Donnie and Pasquale, which today is EDC, and they moved up. They was producing Psytrance raves, and they were crazy. By the way, Disco Donnie and Pasquale have thrown massive Psytrance rave back in the day, and people don't know that. Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I've done raves with Disco Donnie around the country in fucking caves that nobody will believe.
These guys all the time, and he's always trying to get
under Jeff, who runs HCG here in town. He is one of the Orlando production managers of Insomniac, and I've been bitching at him for the last 6 months. I was, bring Psytrance, more Psytrance, more Psytrance, and he's just like, it won't sell. I was like, I don't care if it sells or not, just bring it for me. Like, come on. Like,
but back in the day, it was a different story. But I don't know. You know, Psytrance could or not be another now because there's so many genres. Why not? You know, it could. But for me, I'm not into genres. You know, me myself. I do what I do. You know, and if it will, I would be happy. You know, so I bring my own. You know, I think besides Infected and Spango that came here to the United States, a lot of the artists did it, but it's their loss, you know, or the US loss. I don't know whose loss it is, you know.
My personal opinion is if it's got like emotion, maybe a good vocal in it, it doesn't matter what genre it is, because it'll bring that raw feeling and tie it to the music.
I agree, you know.
I had a song project in school, and it was a little bit more dance oriented because, you know, everybody always says my sound is a little bit, you know, effective mushroom, but I look around me, people, it's all in the place that you hear it. Even for me, when I looked around, I was like, all right, these people aren't connecting with it. It's not the time and place for them, you know. But for me, anytime I can flip on any trance album and I'm connecting with it, it's time and place.
Definitely, Europe has more of a trance kind of vibe to the US, but still, you know, shit can happen. You never know.
You know, we can talk about that all day. Yeah. So, when it came to coming to the States, where was the first target? Was it a demand, like you knew that you were going to Baltimore or something? That was the first time.
No. When I came, the first crew that brought me to the States was Some Radio from San Francisco. That was back in 1998. And they threw some massive Psytrance parties and then formed basically Burning Man. You know, it was the same crew. And back in the day, New York was pretty big on Psytrance, and LA had an underground scene of Psytrance. So these were the three markets that we used to play in, you know. And then came new players into the game, like Pasquale, EDC, Disco Donnie, and all this kind of started moving us around the country. And then Infected Mushroom got a name, and we were considered a band to see, you know, and then we broke that genre away. So for us, that was the journey. But everybody has to consider, if he wants to do that journey, you have to understand, we came here as a big fucking superstars from Europe and Israel and started playing only for 200-300 people at the beginning because we wanted to do it, you know. But for other artists like that play every week for 4,000 or 5,000 people to come here and play rooms of 200-300 people, I don't know if they want to do it, you know. It's their decision. We wanted to do it back in the day, and we went with it, and it went and grew for us. But it's a big decision for artists. I know some artists, like in Brazil, they're so big in Brazil, they don't go out of the country. They're huge over there, but they just don't go out, you know, so but that's their decision. So.
You see that Lollapalooza is having an event in Israel?
Oh yeah, definitely. Lollapalooza Israel is canceled, I'm telling you now, if you don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It's going to be happening in Chile, Brazil, and in the US, Chicago, of course, but Lollapalooza Israel is canceled.
Are they going to try to do it in the future?
I don't know what happened, I don't know, but as of week, the festival was canceled.
That's sad.
That's a big disappointment.
We were thinking about going to that too.
We were trying to get played.
We were planning it like. You just killed our like joy right there. Like,
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you say, like some artists don't like to play like maybe in front of 300 people when they're normally playing in the thousands. I don't know, maybe for you, for me, like I don't really care if there's 10 people, 10,000 people. If I'm playing my music and I'm connecting to those 10 people, it doesn't matter for me because that's people that's just connecting.
The problem is when an artist reaches a certain stage in his career, let's say in Europe, and he's really big, then come the money factor into it.
I can understand the money factor.
And then they go like, okay, I can play this weekend in Europe for this amount of that, or I can go to the US when nobody knows me and I don't know who's gonna be. So it's a decision to make for an artist that is established. You know, if you're a young artist, you just don't care. You go wherever you want and you do, and that's an advantage. You know. When I moved over here, I was a huge artist in Europe and Israel and stuff. But when I came here, it was 2005. There was no EDM scene in America, you know. People were still confused. Besides, like some people that was there. But for me, it was a new experience, you know. I said, fuck that shit, you know. I dig it, but I know a lot of big artists that don't want to do it. They're big all around the world, and they say, okay, the US, we leave it aside, you know.
I think the music's gonna fall from the sky, and also they're gonna get calls for gigs.
Well, I don't know what they think, and I don't know the way. It's basically money talking, you know. You become comfortably numb at where you are and so what you want to do. So that's what it is.
Well, in regards to the live journey, how did you go from coming here, you and Erez, going to get a band, to where you are now? You have the unveiling, of which I'm so excited to see for the first time.
We've had so many changes over the years via our live aspects. For me and Erez, just playing keyboards, to adding a guitarist, then a second guitarist, then a drummer, then becoming this full live entity on stage, and then breaking this all apart and bringing the unveiling and the Fungus Amadas tour apart. For us, it's basically not getting bored on the road. This is the truth, you know, because doing the same old fucking thing year after year, I get bored. You know, I don't care even if the crowd doesn't get bored, because a lot of the crowd, you know, when are you bringing the band back? I am bringing the band back, but not at the moment. You know, at the moment I want to do that, you know, because otherwise I get bored. And when I get bored, I move on. This is what we do, and we like to keep on changing stuff. Same with our music, same with our stage presence, same with our shows. And when we won't have the power anymore, I'll probably open a falafel stand in Israel and fuck all this shit. That's what it is.
It's a real pleasure, man. It's a pleasure for me.
Is there anything?
Do we have anything else?
I have one thing last. Is there anything you would like to say to your fans? Anything like? Any announcements?
This year is a very interesting year for Affected Mushroom. We're putting in an EP every 3 months. So Volume 1 just came out now, the Friends of Mushroom, but it's only part 1. There's part 2 and part 3 coming out.
Are you gonna do a whole box set once it's all finished too?
Whole box set when it's finished. Full shitloads of collaborations from Savant, Pegboard Nerds, Porter Robinson, Zed, Steve Aoki for the Trans Addicts, Kazi, Spongo. So there's a lot of so many fucking shit going on around this in this EP. New live set, shitloads of festivals, you know, Ultra, Coachella, in Europe, Tomorrowland, and all this fun. And, you know, we're taking it everywhere this year. So